the exporting of that. We're seeing some local businesses thrive in that area now. So what can we do to help more of that take place? Develop, retain, and attract business entrepreneurs and investment. You're going to hear every town, every community, all levels of government talking about entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurism is really nothing new. So we run the risk of it sounding a little bit trendy, but what we need to do is focus on it and make sure that we don't overlook it and take it for granted. So if you look at the youth of today, and if you look at some of the studies around youth and where they see their careers going, a lot of them see themselves, as, in fact I think 60% see themselves as entrepreneurs. Well, that's good news. How do we help them see us as a place to be an entrepreneur is what's important. So let's take advantage of that. Deepen and broaden our creative and cultural sector. You know, we're already known for that. We've already got some gems in the community, and there's already activities underway to help grow and promote that. But we need to capture that, and we need to be part of that. That's why that's there. Retain and attract residents to sustain population growth. Most communities are suffering the same challenge with aging demographics, shrinking population. And, you know, you can deal with that. That's not the end of the world, but it creates challenges. And so there's opportunities to respond to that challenge and find ways to sustain or grow your population. So obviously the tax base is important. People to buy goods and products and services to support your entrepreneurs is important. So we need to be thinking about things that we can do to help spur on population growth. And we're lucky in the sense that a lot of people come here to visit, and like myself, you end up living here because you were a visitor up here. And so we ought not overlook that. We have a great asset in place to attract people at all ages and stages of their life. And we have the opportunity to retain the young people here that would traditionally go into London or Sarnia or Toronto or Calgary and find ways to help employ and create opportunities for them here. And then lastly, and I suppose most obviously, guide and assist tourism partners with the development that integrates and generates economic benefits for Lambton Shore. So those are the 7 goals. Now, there's another 6 objectives under each of those 7 goals, and I'm going to do you a favor and not read you those. But they're in the document and you've seen them. We think that based on the conversations we've had, those seem like realistic and workable objectives. But if you go to the next slide and we move on to next steps, really what we need to do now, on behalf of Council, I think what we've been able to do is look at where we are, develop a vivid picture of where we want to go, where we think we can go, and we've recommended some goals and 42 objectives that we think we could pursue. But now it's time to begin a discussion like we're doing here today within Council to make sure that what we're recommending fits with your strategy and your directives and where you see the community going at large. Economic development is just one piece of the many priorities that you have to deal with. But if it is, then the next steps are to take that into the community and work with the retailers and work with the agricultural community and the service providers and let's talk about this plan like we've talked about it here today and find out where the strengths of the plan are, where the weaknesses, but more importantly, where they see themselves fitting into this plan and how they can help us build this plan out. Because at the end of all of this, it's not us building anything. It's us facilitating and providing a vision and a picture and getting people excited about it and seeing where they can plug into it. But I think we have a role to help move them along, help them with connecting people, programs. A lot of the work that Jeff does through the Sarnia-Lambton Economic Partnership can play in here. So there's a number of partners that we now need to engage with, but it was really silly to try and engage with them prior to knowing where we want to go and what our priorities are. But now we have this document, so now we can reach out to SLAB and SWIA, and, Tours of Sarnia-Lambton, all of the different partners and acronyms that you could come up with. We have something to put in front of them and see how they can help us move this thing forward. So that's where we are. And then ongoing, and just to finish off really, we need to evaluate, monitor, and update this plan. So this is the planning part, move into stakeholder engagement conversations, implementation, and then you evaluate what are we working on that's worked, what hasn't worked, what can we update, monitor. So I would recommend that, you know, on a quarterly basis, you look at the plan and the milestones and the objectives, and let's look for progress. Annually, we look at what's important and the priorities. Every 3 years, you look at the strategic plan and you go through something similar to what we've just done now and keep it moving. So last slide is next steps. Next step. So what are we asking of council today? Really 4 things, and I think Kevin's included a letter, a report, or a recommendation in your packet. Council support of the 7 Economic Development Committee priorities and goals. That's number 1. Number 2, communicate the plan publicly. We can do that through town halls, website, forums. We envision doing that really in the first quarter, January, February, March. Recognizing a lot of people aren't here, so we'll need to find ways to engage with people that take the first month or so off in the service industry. Number 3, commit effort to find a way to manage this plan. There's 7 objectives, 42, or 7 goals, 42 objectives. No one person can do that. It's going to take the group, the team, and some, what I would think is project or program management or economic development coordination around this plan to keep it moving and have the people out in the community. So looking into some of the programs out there, I know Kevin is thinking about how he might do that. And then lastly, work towards attaining the strategic directives of the plan. So that's the work we've done really from May until now, and it's the update that we have. And I guess from here it becomes the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Excellent presentation. The committee worked really well together. I want to thank you and everyone in the committee. I didn't get to all the meetings, and quite honest, there was times I was wondering whether we were moving forward or whether we were spinning our wheels on things. But this committee has, this report has brought everything together very well, and I think it's a useful tool for us. So I would open up if anyone else wants to, has any questions?
Kudos. We've been waiting for this. You've done wonderful work. When I was reading the other night, I was going back in history a little bit, but I tried not to interfere because I went through a similar process 20 years ago with the Sanguine. But I think what's so wonderful about this is how it's timely, first of all, budget-wise. That's probably perfect, but probably timely in the sense of you guys set your priorities based on that timeliness so that something can get done. I think I know we've heard the Deputy Mayor many times say that about EDC matters. I think ad nauseum, it's been wonderful that she keeps plugging for that, and that's her role. So I think that's what we need. We need to put some timelines on things, and I think we need to get at this right away. I fully support it. Just 2 comments I wanted to make to you, Paul. When I first came out to your committee when you first started in that snowstorm, I came home and I told my wife, that's going to be a great committee. Just when you introduced yourselves, you have such resources on that committee, and obviously the work that's been done has proven that fact. But the 2 comments I want to make is that I work up at the museum, so obviously I'm in the culture sector. We've just released our strategic plan, and it dovetails with yours. It's almost 100%. It's beautiful, and we have the county museum in this municipality, as you well know, with your the marble proposal. You well understand that. The second thing is, if you guys get a chance, go and read the Elgin County Economic Development Plan, if you get a chance. And the reason for it is, I read it a couple weeks ago, and it is so boggling that a whole county one, yours, has so many similarities, or ours, sorry, this is ours now. Ours has so many similarities in the sense that the coast with the most. They have, as we all well know, I mean, a huge Ford plant that went down there. Lots of other manufacturing that supported that Ford plant, so they had an industrial base. We've never really had one in Lambton Shores, but we had it in Lambton County. And I think that whole creative culture thing, that thinking to the future, they made their EDC plan. When you read it, you think that it's their culture plan, when in fact it's their economic development plan. They have decided that their coast and their tourism and the resources